Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Verge podcast with me, your House District 2 State Representative, Virgil Osborne. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, and if you haven't watched us before, On the Verge is a conservative podcast. It's where we like to think we're your conservative voice of Southern Oregon. One thing we don't do on this podcast is we don't lie. We tell the truth, and sometimes not everybody likes to hear the truth. And if you don't like to hear the truth, then it's okay. You can go ahead and start your own podcast. Come down here and see Justin or Jake; they'll help you out, and you can do something else. But if you do like what we have to say and you like watching us, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm excited tonight. We have some guests that came up from Medford, I think, right, to visit with us. I'm going to introduce them here in just a second. And we're going to have our topic tonight is going to be based on a few things that are of national news right now and definitely public interest, and that's sanctuary state, sanctuary counties, sanctuary cities. We're also going to talk about immigration and legal immigration and how all that really works, and for that matter, what the results of some of that's been. So without further ado, I want to introduce my first guest tonight. I'm going to start with you, Satila. If you just say your name, I think I'm not good at saying your name, so you go ahead and say it and tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name is Satila Tuivanu is my last name, and this is my wife,
Melody. Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us. And I have my ever-present co-host, Trent. Trent, who are you?
Well, I'm still Trent Drake. I am the Republican Central Committee Chair, Virgil's campaign manager, and we do a lot behind the scenes for a lot of our local elected officials.
Yeah. And so thank you for co-hosting, and thank you guys for coming on the show tonight. The reason we kind of, Satila, I just met him about a year ago, right?
That's
I think it was our
Yep.
last event. The reason we wanted him to come on the show tonight was because they got to the United States. I don't know about his wife, but he came here, immigrated here, right?
Yes, sir.
From the islands.
Yep,
Samoa.
from the island of Samoa.
Yeah, and it turns out you can come to the United States legally, and you're very successful. You've done well, and I want to hear a little bit about your journey as to how you got here, and I think I'll just let you take it away. Tell us how you got here and what you do.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having us. What an honor. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Satila Tuivanu. I am from the island of Samoa. There's two Samoa. There's American Samoa and there's Western Samoa. I am from Western, which it was, at one point we're under the British system of everything. Some people call it colonies, but yeah, we were a colony.
So were we.
Yes,
America was too.
So as America at one point. So, but yes, I was born and raised there for 25 years. I moved here in 1997. But prior, before I moved to the United States, I speak English is my second language. Mm-hmm. We write English, we just didn't speak English. So before I moved here, there's a lot of movies about America. And there's everything that you see in that part of the world is all originated from America. So as a young man growing up, you always dream of this land with all this beauty that, things that you watch, and you always dream of the opportunity that you see and the people, it's for a man, you want to be, you want to have what they have. You just, it's reading about the Roman Empire and all that. A lot of people they long to become citizens of Rome, not because, but just because they're very successful. And so what I saw was, is obviously Hollywood predict, the United States very well in the good and the bad and the ugly. So before I moved here, I know that there's a lot of good, but there was also, the white man was a racist guy. So you know what I mean? That was how Hollywood predict, the Indians and the cowboys. My dad loves those movies. And so the white guy was always the bad guy. So anyways, so when I moved here, I had an idea what life should look like. I grew up in a farm. My mom and dad were farmers, and my whole family. We had lands that we wake up every day, and that's what you do. Yeah.
I got to ask. So when you came here at 25.
Yes, I was 25.
So what did you do? I mean, it's like, yeah, obviously you land here, you've got to support yourself and make money, and you came here legally.
Yes.
So what did you do to make a living?
Yeah. Legally, I did. I had to get
what
a visa
legal
to
things
get
did
here. I didn't swim here. I flew here. So
that's a long swim.
So, but yeah, no. When I first moved here, I worked at Taco Bell.
Okay.
I cleaned the parking lot. I take that back. My first job was at Antonio's restaurant. It was a friend of a friend. He's an Italian, but he's friend with this Samoan guy, brother. And he said, "Hey man, my buddy is he likes
off the boat."
Yeah. So. And I got hired by this, his name is Randy. I love the guy.
Yeah.
And I worked. I washed the dishes. I mean, I'm the first one there, the last one to leave, because you still have to clean up after everybody eats.
and you got to pay your bills. I mean,
100%. Yes. The crazy thing about it is that when I moved here, I didn't see. It really is a land of opportunities. So at one point, I had 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Because when the money, listen, $100 here, it's equivalent to $300 back home.
Okay.
$300 back home, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
At the age 25, you're the man. So, yeah, so this is what it means. And I started to see, okay, so this is what it means. Yeah. It's the land of opportunity. You can work as much as you want. As many jobs as you want.
And the cool thing, like I said, I haven't known you that long, but one of the things that I noticed about you that I admire is that you're a mentor. I mean, whether you know it or not, I mean, you have a success story from coming here, and you've done well, and you're in the ministry as well.
Yes.
And you have a story to tell, and young people listen to that story. And like myself, when I was young, I admired people that had houses and they had things, and they did. I wanted to be a logger, right? The bar wasn't that high when I was 16, but I wanted to be a yarder operator. Awesome. And then of course things changed, and then when you get older, to the point after high school, you start getting focused on money, because you realize the only way you're going to survive is to make money. Mm-hmm. So I admire that about you, that you not only you were successful, and you still are, and of course you have a beautiful wife, and I don't know if you guys have kids or not. Yeah.
We have 2.
Okay,
yeah.
2 kids, but yet you're willing to tell a story, and you're willing to minister to people, and yes. I think that's so important today. Because so many people don't do that. I think we're a society that's we keep things to ourselves. We're private. We don't. We expect instant gratification, because we can get on our phone and we can order $1,000 worth of Amazon product on our phone in 5 seconds, and if it doesn't show up, be mad about it not getting there the next day.
Yeah.
True.
So anyway, so I just wanted to say that. But so, what got you started in the ministry?
Well, before I left the island, I gave my life to Jesus. That was 1997, November 12th, 11:30 at night, that I accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And it changes everything. And from that moment on, I was given a word that my destiny was going to be on the other side of the Jordan River. Well, this is the other side of the Jordan. Yeah. And so, but yeah, when I first moved here, I met my wife at the tent. They had a tent revival, and I was.
My dad was a preacher.
Yeah, her dad was a preacher.
Yes. Cool.
You dated the preacher's daughter.
Yes,
I can tell you stories about the preacher's daughter.
But yeah, no, and that's how. So I served with under her mom and dad, and for 13 years, and from that. I've learned I learned English at doing youth. That's how I learned English, was to get out and speak to the young people about the Lord and about salvation, about the Bible, and then from there on, I've learned how to communicate, with other people, and it was a good setup for the future for me personally.
And that learning English is a big challenge for people coming into this country, especially illegal. I spent some time on the border. I went down to Yuma, and back when we were in the middle of the Biden administration, and we were having, the border crossings were just, it was a horrible place. We, as a legislator, myself and some of the senators and some of the other House representatives, we made a trip to Yuma to look at the border. Now, we caught a lot of flack from some of our local far-right people for spending taxpayer money to go down to Yuma. Well, we didn't spend any taxpayer money. We paid for the trip ourselves because we wanted to see what was really going on. And one of the stops that we made, of course, we had Border Patrol protection with us the whole time. We even had a helicopter flying over once in a while, keeping an eye on us, so we weren't in any danger, so to speak. But one of the stops that we made was right where the end of the fence kind of comes up against some, I think it's an Indian reservation fence or something like that. And 1,800 people a day come through that spot on average, and that's the ones that they catch, right? They don't know how many come through when that they don't get to see. But the communication, I mean, they don't speak English. Hardly any of them speak English. The cartel, of course, is sending them through. And one of the things they said to us is like, okay, we're going to let you guys go on the other side of the fence because you got about 200 yards of no man's land. You're still in the United States, but you're up against the river. And they said, you're going to find on the ground SIM cards everywhere. I'm why in the world would you find SIM cards? Well, because the cartel, when you cross the into the United States, your phone doesn't work. You have to have a different SIM card. Right. So the cartel don't want to get caught. So they have a phone from the cartel with the SIM card in it. When they cross the border, they meet somebody and gives them a new SIM card. And then they can, communicate in the United States. Anyways, but the language barrier, even down there, I mean, it was difficult for some of the locals who are, I suppose some of them were born in Mexico, whatever, and then the funny thing is we're expected in the United States, if we go to another country, we have to learn their language. But our folks here in the United States, it's different. We expect them to not have to learn our language. And it's like, well, that's fine. But if you want to make a living and you want to have a job,
100%,
you got to do it.
You have to, and I have to. I know for a fact. I mean, in the beginning, I know if I have to learn the language. It really is it's universal. It is how you communicate. And not only that, I have to learn the culture. But if the scripture is very clear, there are laws. Every land, you have to obey the laws of the land. To obey the laws of the land, you have to know the language of the land to understand what those concepts are. And so once you understand, then it creates a pathway for you to grow a little deeper into to dive a little deeper into what that looks like. Because really, there are a lot of concepts that most of the illegal, immigrant people, rewind it. My burden right now is to teach my people and whoever those that come into the United States, that they're not victims.
Right.
I'm not a victim. And because that's the number one fight that everybody is trying to make these people that move here and make it feel like they're a victim of someone or some system or some of that. No, it's once you become a Christian, you understand the founding father, the principle that they had laid as a foundation for a nation, not only to stand on it, but to be successful, abiding by those laws that they have, that they have put in that foundation. It's what will take you places.
Well, and I think I love hearing you say that. I love your accent, by the way. I'm just going to say that. It's like, I'm kind of envious. I wish I had some kind of an accent, but I don't. But no, I love to hear you say that because you're right. We have a homeless problem here, and so many people equate that to, well, they're victims. They're victims of bad circumstances. I'm not saying they're not. There's a lot of folks that are homeless are victims of bad circumstances for whatever. We're all living. I didn't say but a lot of folks live a paycheck away from being homeless. I mean, and our economy has to do with that, right? Our economy here in Oregon is just totally in a dumpster right now. But if you have the desire and the will to try, and get kicked down 7 times, get up 8, and keep moving forward, there is success out there. You just have to
Yes.
earn it. You know, it doesn't come for free. And I think one of the problems with our state, particularly our country, and a lot of it had to do with the last administration, is we've become this socialist country.
Yes.
It's like, no, we want to give you free health care. We
Yeah.
want to give you a free house. We want to give you free food,
Yeah.
which is great until you run out of other people's money. And then we're in trouble. And you didn't get here that way. You don't live that way. And I don't think your country where you came from lives that way. They work for a living.
See, there's Western Samoa and there's American Samoa. Both countries, same language, same people, same color, same everything. But the difference is that we have.
If you don't work,
If you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah.
American Samoa, on the other hand, they do lean a lot to what comes from the United States, of America.
Yeah. Right.
Where I come from, you have to figure out how to find food.
Yeah.
You guys come and you go to the beach and you think it's beautiful. We go to the beach to go to work.
Yeah.
We go to catch fish. We go to the forest. We don't go to look at trees and how beautiful they are. No, we go to work in the forest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a difference. Yeah.
So I got to believe that IP28, your country probably would have never passed anything like that, right? The one where you can't hunt or fish or anything.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no,
You
they
would
won't.
die.
Yeah, no, we don't. See, that's the beauty of that part of the world is that there's no government. We have 80% of our land is traditional land. Means a family owns it till Jesus Christ come back.
Come back. Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Only 20% are freeholder, but that's the beauty of it is that the government. There's two government. There's chief system and then there's the government. Well, the chief system is the shield to protect the family, the traditions from the government who gets influenced by outside.
No, our government is definitely the prime example of outside influence.
Exactly.
Definitely not always good.
I'm probably jumping ahead a little bit, but
Yeah,
the
go
other
ahead.
thing is the ability to communicate. And that I looked it up. We met in 2009.
No,
It's been a minute.
Yes.
That's
a long time.
You guys are old.
we are.
I hope I never get as old as Trent.
Actually, I met his wife first. I was this guy bugging her to get dancers to come up to our luau. But
Sorry, I forgot.
what it was so impressive from the time that we met to today. Well, last year at our Republican luau that we put on.
Yeah.
One of the things that you conveyed was how the founding fathers affected you as an immigrant coming here and the importance of that. And there was 200 plus people there and they were locked on exactly what you were saying because everything you were saying was irrefutable. And that's also the other step. There's some people saying, oh, you shouldn't have to speak language. I disagree.
Oh, I completely disagree.
I think you should be, but you should also be able to say it in a manner that's A, respectful, but B, it allows somebody to sit there and to examine what you're trying to say. And, you do a fantastic job of that.
Thank you. And you can't remove, as a Samoan, I was born as a Samoan.
Yeah.
My identity is really God has given.
Yeah.
Genetic design.
It's
And you shouldn't want to remove that.
no, and I won't. There's no way.
Yeah.
But you see, I live in the U.S.
Yeah.
I became a citizen. How long ago was that? Gosh, 20-some years ago.
2000,
And,
2000.
in
Oh, hell,
2000.
that's
So
awesome.
25 years
That's
ago.
back when I was born.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm on a roll tonight.
The rest of your life is going to fall right out on the floor.
See,
I know, right?
but even as a Samoan, you still have to learn how to assimilate
Exactly.
Yeah.
in this culture.
Yep.
To be successful, anywhere you
to.
go, just put it this way. You go to Samaria, assimilate. You go to Judea, you do the same thing. Why? Not to be conformed to their ways, but to learn how to thrive and survive in that culture.
That's right.
To me personally, that is, and you have to love. Listen, you have to love where you live, or else you're gonna have a hard time going anywhere. We'll talk about. It's funny because we joke about this, Trent. is that, we always, because when I first moved here, I was under the impression I'm a person of color. I'm coming to a predominantly white community, which is in Oregon at that time, in Medford, right?
Listen, I live it. I know.
And so, but you were told so many things by the news, by the media, the white people this, the white people that. I like what his name, he was asked a question, what's his name? Bill Maher. He was asked a question.
No, Bill Maher.
Yeah, he was asked a question about, from a guy said, hey, you went and met Donald Trump, right? And yeah, I did. And obviously this guy but he's this, he's that, Bill Maher's response, I thought that was my response was, everybody's a monster until you get to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what? When I moved there, I started talking to people and I started getting to know the people, my white friends that I have now.
Yeah.
And I realized, wow, you know what? These guys are a lot better than some of the friends I have in the past. We had this guy who's, it's a salmon trapped in a white body.
The short guy.
Exactly. He's more salmon than I am sometimes. And so like I said, everybody's a monster, and still, all I'm saying is this, don't never touch people.
And you touched on something that I actually had written down here, and something that just irritates the hell out of me. So you, I'm not going to say I've never done it, but you don't find my social media full of that kind of crap, right? I don't talk about how the white man bad or I think that it reflects on a person, in a bad way, and you do that. Well, recently, just last weekend, we had a meet and greet at Looking Glass Brewery, which is one of our sponsors, and we're going to talk about him later. But it was a Republican meet and greet, and we invited everybody. I mean, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever you are. Come, Constitution Party. I don't care. And we had a good turnout. It was, and lo and behold, I look at the social media, and I have some lady post something about a Nazi gathering, and I'm like,
what?
Okay, so I normally don't respond.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, she said that it was a Nazi
funny.
gathering. So you can call me all kinds of names. I don't care. You can call me the N word. You can call me. I've been called everything.
Yes.
But Nazi pisses me off.
Right.
And I don't like being called a Nazi. So I very kindly responded to her, and I hope she's watching tonight because usually they do. I kindly responded. I said, I spent a whole day with Attorney General Dan Rayfield, and that's your guys' party, not mine.
Yeah.
And out of respect for the position and the fact that he came to our district, I spent the whole day with him, and we talked to a whole bunch of people in our district. The Job Corps being one of them, and not once did I call him a Nazi, and not once did I call him a name. And I have his cell phone. If I need Dan Rayfield, I can call him on his cell phone tonight, and he would be happy to answer his phone. And we have a friendship. We agree on nothing politically, but he's not a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't agree with me politically. And that's what I told her. I said, just because you don't agree with somebody politically doesn't make you a Nazi.
Yeah.
I also have a little bit of a theory.
Well, you're the best Nazi I've ever met. Thank you for having me in your show.
No way.
Well, I also have a theory, and I had a discussion today with a guy. It's like we talk. There's always that people throw out, well, Hitler and the Germans and everything. Well, what created that? So if you go back, and we don't study history anymore, and in high school we don't teach it. And in Oregon we don't even. I'm going to preach a little bit, but we don't even care. We just lower the standards so you can graduate. You don't have to know anything. But if you go back and you look at history, why did Germany become the way it was? Because in the 30s, in World War I, Germany was just getting their butt kicked, and their economy was in a downturn. It was everything about the country was failing. It was bad. Well, Hitler comes along, and he turns the country into a socialist, fascist really, but a socialist country, and all of a sudden the state was supporting the people. They had manufacturing and all this stuff, and all of a sudden it's good. People gravitated to it. They gravitated to socialism because, wow, here's this guy. Now, unfortunately, he was a bad guy, and then in the 40s he wanted to take over the world and damn near did it. Yeah. But I wondered today if the United States, and particularly Oregon, hasn't got to the point where things are so bad that, if I'm a high school kid today, I'm going, I'm going to have to spend, if I buy a reasonable house, I'm going to have to spend $300,000.
Yep.
That's, what's a down payment on that? I mean, without paying all the PMI and everything else, I mean, I'm going to have to come up with 80 grand, to make it cash flow to where I can afford to. How do you do that? So,
And then you got a $3,000 a month payment.
right. And how do you do that? And so I think, so naturally the liberal side of the politics will say, well, we're going to force minimum wage to go up. We're going to force people to pay more. Well, you're going to force business out of the state. You're going to force, people, small businesses can only afford so much. And so I feel like that is the reason why we're having a socialist movement in our country right now, because our country is in such disarray. And I believe Trump has turned some of that around. And I think we're financially probably going to be better off because he's president in the long run. I mean, we can get into the politics of some of the good and the bad that have happened since, but I feel like the same reasons Germany turned the way they did are happening here, and it scares the hell out of me. I don't like it.
Yep.
And unfortunately, in Oregon, we're lined up for it because we have not only a legislation. Well, you got the House and the Senate, who are controlled by one party who will admittedly say they're DSA, right? Democratic Socialists of America. They admit it, and we have a governor who's completely out of touch with the rest of the state. So I think we're coming down to our last shot to turn this state around before we lose what we have of businesses. I mean, our timber industry is a total mess right now, and I can go on, but anyway.
And the problem that we have even on the other side of the aisle is that when you're deceived, you don't know you're deceived. Yeah. And it's the enemy is really good at deceiving people.
Oh yeah.
And socialism, it's Nazism in its disguise.
Yeah.
If you look at it in a deeper meaning, it's people don't understand. That is, the crazy thing is they use people of color as
you're right.
As a shield,
they
or as a vehicle to drive their agenda.
Yeah.
And that is the most insane. And like I said, when you're blind to these things, you are deceived.
Well, we don't teach it.
Yes.
We don't teach it in school.
Exactly.
We don't teach our kids, and
part of that is with our kids. Our kids are not, they're not taught to endure. Okay, how many jobs did you say you had at one time?
3 jobs.
3.
Yeah.
So when my wife and I were dating, at one time I had 2 jobs, worked in an auto dealer all day, and then I sold jewelry at night. And that included weekends. Whatever happened to those things where you had those learning experiences? Could I live on my own in that? I really couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't. But I learned along the way. And today, as someone who has a business, I'm always looking for someone who wants, with what I do, I would like to have somebody come out there that eventually would buy me out and supplant me. But when we have this conversation, I just had a conversation with a young man the other day. He goes, well, do I have to work nights? And I said, sometimes. I have to work weekends, sometimes.
Welcome to my world.
And he's like, well, I can't do either of those. I said, then this probably isn't for you.
No.
Yeah.
And he goes, why? I'm as good as you are. I said, that's not the comparison. The comparison is, what are you willing to give up to get what you want?
Yeah.
Most people don't want to give up anything, especially effort and time. My buddy, I have a buddy here in town, his name's Barry, and sharp dude, has amazing recall. I mean, he can remember things from when we were in high school like it was yesterday. And he says energy plus effort equals results. If you don't put those two together, you'll never have anything. You put the energy and the effort, and along the way you took your lumps and you learned, and slowly but surely you climb those mountains.
As long as your energy and your effort are going toward good,
right?
Because they also equal results when you're going the wrong way too.
And it is, and there's a lot of people that, if they'd spend half the time trying to do that versus trying to get away with things, what they would accomplish would blow their mind.
Yeah.
But that's been taken away with them with the gift of, if you do this, we'll give you this if you vote for us.
So Annette Perkins says entitlement will be the downfall of the next generation. And unless we turn this thing around, I don't disagree. And I see our state going, like I said, I mentioned that, we just lower our standards for our kids.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and they did it for the minority kids, which that's wrong, right?
Absolutely.
It's like,
DEI is the worst.
DEI
and-
is
yeah.
absolutely the devil.
Oh, it's horrible.
Absolutely.
It's horrible.
And yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of folks on here that want to hear some comments on sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, and feel free to say what you want or not. That's fine. I'll just say it. I'll start the conversation out with this. I am not in favor of sanctuary state.
Absolutely.
I am, but I will also say I'm not against somebody immigrating, coming here.
Right.
Right.
I think if you do it legally, then the door is wide open and welcome, and whatever I can do to help you, if I'm all about that. If you come here illegally because you know that we're a sanctuary state, a sanctuary city, a sanctuary county, I think that that's not good. Now, do I think they need to be arrested? It depends on if they're criminals. I mean, breaking the law by coming here illegally is one thing, but breaking the law, coming here and causing crime,
Right.
that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
Recently, our city of Roseburg passed an ordinance that supported sanctuary city, and then just even more recently, our county passed a resolution that said they do not support the sanctuary
Saw that.
state, and that's gone nationwide. I mean,
That's awesome.
which I think is kind of cool, because I think it is an example. I have to admit, of course, I'm a fan of all three of our commissioners, but I believe that they have the guts to stand up and say what the people want, right?
Yes.
And I realize there's also a percentage of people that want the sanctuary. I don't know why, but they want this to be a sanctuary city, sanctuary county. I don't understand that, and again, social media has all kinds of different fingers the way it goes. But I do also have to say our state is a sanctuary state. I didn't vote for it. That was passed years before I was in the legislature, and I can't undo it because the majority party won't undo it. So no matter what resolution is passed or what ordinance is followed, it doesn't change the fact that we're a sanctuary state.
Right.
So the fallout from all this is kind of actually good, I think. But I wanted to get anybody's opinion on the sanctuary state, and I think I probably know without asking, but by all means, comment.
Well, I would just say, like, as a mother, I don't let anybody come to my house, right? Like, and if we were to look at immigration in a way of my own personal home, like, would I let people and even the idea of like homelessness, like as Christians, as believers, we have to help people, right? Like that is God's mandate.
Yeah.
But I can't take every homeless person into my home because then guess what? My kids aren't going to have enough to eat. My family, I can't afford to pay our bills. I just don't have enough to sustain for everybody.
Yeah.
So there has to be a methodology and a process by which we're able to help those. Jesus gave the example of the Good Samaritan. And I think that's a beautiful story because in the story of the Good Samaritan, he was walking on the road and he saw a man that was bleeding and that was dying on the side of the road. He picked him up, he put him on his horse, and he took care of him and he helped him. And Jesus said, who was his neighbor, right? And he said the one that helped him, right? Because a lot of other people walked by, self-righteous people, the priest walked by or whatever. But I think that we can help those. There has to be a process and an ability to bring that, and it has to make sense. And I don't let everybody stay the night at my house. I remember watching, I think it was like a YouTube clip, and I don't know exactly who did it or when it happened, but there were some people that were advocating for really no borders, just kind of free for all, and in the name of love, I guess, or in the name of, progressive ideology. And he's like, well, how many immigrants are you going to let stay at your house?
Yeah.
So are you going to feed these people that are coming over here? Are you going to house them? Are you going to clothe them? Who do you think is going to care for them when they get there? And as a mother, it's just like, I think sometimes we forget like the common sense, right? Of like, there isn't enough, like our daughter's going to go to college, right?
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation because I'm really passionate about it. Because, we're looking at schools 30, 40, 50, 60,000 a year for our daughter.
Yeah.
Right? We have 2 businesses. We work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Each because we also have, we have our pastor job. I run an adult foster home.
Yeah.
My husband is in transportation. He's a freight broker. He does trucking, for a living, And so, and then we have, our church. And so we work hard and we pay a lot of taxes.
Oh yeah.
A lot. So when I'm looking
Oregon.
at schools and looking at payments, and then there's all these other forms like, oh, if you're not a U.S., and this is Oregon, right? Like I've lived in Oregon. I moved from California. I'm of Hispanic descent. My family's been here forever. And so I moved to Oregon when I was 7 years old. I was the only brown person in the neighborhood. And so I have a lot to say about a lot of issues because I was treated completely fairly, I didn't even know I was Latino or Hispanic until I was in 8th grade. And people were speaking Spanish. They dressed a certain way. They looked a certain way. Nobody could connect with them. They weren't trying to fit in into the rest of the school or build community. There was a sector of students that they were very violent. And I just remember them getting in gang fights at the school. And I'm like, they're like, Melody, you're not like them. You're like us. And I was like, I didn't know there was a them and us. I didn't know we were like, I didn't even know I would, you know what I mean? Like I had
trust
no
me.
concept.
I've lived it. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even know there was a them or an us. Like, but when you don't want to fit into the community that you're in, like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, applying for school for our daughter, and it's like, well, you can have everything for free if you don't pay taxes, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I told my husband, like, I can't even breathe right now because we try to find I'm at the CPA all the time. And when my tax guy calls, I'm rubbing my hands, sweating. I'm like, how much do I owe? Right? Because we have 2 small businesses, right?
Yeah.
How much, the Oregon taxes for employment?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. I told my husband, we pay taxes on top of paying taxes because we have employees. Like they charge us just for having them.
That's why I don't have any employees anymore with my business.
Like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so here we are busting our butt out there every living day to raise our kids, raise our families, serve our church, serve our community. And American people, we get nothing.
Yeah.
And
to interrupt you,
please.
So I was the only brown person in my school too. I mean, my dad is black, my mom is white. I was adopted, so my parents were both white. I was raised in a white family. We never knew prejudice, right? To this day, I don't know prejudice. Now, I know a lot of white people I don't like, and I know a lot of black people I don't like, but none of it's because of their skin color.
Right.
It's because they're just, frankly, they're not nice people.
Yep. Quality of their
Well,
character.
that's the way I was brought up. Virgil was the guy that lived around the corner from my cousin.
Yeah.
That when I was 10, he was still that much taller than me.
Right.
And his brother Andy.
Still
It's kind of
is
the same.
today.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah.
We never looked at the world that way.
We didn't either. And the thing about it is like, it's never been a hindrance for me.
Right.
I moved to California for a few years. I worked. I've been a salesman most of my life. Most of my career, I was in sales. I was always top in sales. Never once was it an issue.
Right.
And now I represent 77,000 people as a state representative. Turns out a lot of those guys are white.
I love
Go
this.
figure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I have met my real parents, my biological parents, and
Sure.
my dad, even though he's black, he's more conservative than I am, and I'm very conservative. I don't care what color you are. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for these days, and man, it
Absolutely.
is so damn hard to find.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
local. I don't know if I'd call her a Democrat, but I call her lots of names. But there's a local person here that she has made the statement to me that the state has plenty of money to house all of the homeless, unhoused, and they have plenty of money to feed them. And if we would just get off our ass and feed and pay for all of them to have a place to live, then they would become productive members of our society. And I'm like, oh, really? How's that?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, I guess we just pay for them to live and, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to go too far into the homeless discussion, but, a large portion of the homeless folks are also illegal immigrants. And I don't know what the percentage is.
My issue with Sanctuary State and Sanctuary City, it's to me, the people that they are protecting, we saw the news.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are some of the most dangerous. How many of those criminal that crossed the border last,
Yeah,
lots of
a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so
There's a reason they're leaving.
exactly, yes. And so the problem I have with sanctuary city and sanctuary state is that we all know what they're trying to do. We all know, there's always an agenda. They're very
Hypocritical.
hypocritical because, if you ask these leaders, these people that run state, so can you take some of these people home with you? If that is truly what you believe,
Exactly.
can you do it?
Back it up.
They won't.
They
Back
won't
it
do
up.
it.
No, they
Back
They
it up.
won't do it.
And they don't want it in their
They
districts
won't
either.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They won't. You know why? Because you see, this is what, and I share this with a couple of the guys from the island that I'm trying to mentor. I said, listen, this is, you and I are being used as, what's the word?
Pawns.
Pawns.
Yeah.
Many times
Yep.
by the other side of the island, as to advance exactly the agenda that they want to
Yeah.
see. And that is the side, to me, that hurts.
Oh yeah.
And that is frustrating
Yeah.
because, using other people's money, using other people's money to advance their agenda by, the welfare system, right?
Yeah.
It was created for people to get back on their feet. Now, it's a political tools for the other side
For
of
the
the
other-
island
For the
to
Democrats.
absolutely attract voters.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's insanity.
Well, it's a move towards socialism, and we just keep picking up steam. I also want to comment. The illegal immigrants that are coming here, and I don't know that they're really immigrants. A lot of them are cartel, especially in Douglas County. And I read everything on social media. I never comment on social media, but I read some of the garbage that comes through. And there's some local, I'll just call them liberals, that are like, there's no cartel in Douglas County. That's a lie. And part of the commissioner's statement of supporting ICE is because, and they said it in the meeting. I listened to the meeting. They said it because they want to push back against the cartels. And frankly, Douglas County has pushed back hard. And I know that the sheriff and I are good friends. I know things behind the scenes stuff about cartel and what's happening. It's not false. It's really happening. There are things that are happening. And the liberals are like, there's no cartel in this county. That's all a bunch of garbage and a bunch of lies. There are a cartel in this county, and there are people that go missing because of this cartel. A lot.
Yes.
And there are marijuana grows, and now there are meth operations, and there are heroin operations that are happening within this county. And again, Douglas County's pushed back. Josephine County and Jackson County, which you guys I think live in Jackson County, they don't have. I don't believe they have the sheriff's department that fights that stuff and the commissioners to support fighting it like ours do. Our commissioners have been very outspoken about, we're not going to allow this crap in our county. Yeah. And because of that, I think some of it's gone to you guys. Because I think, it's
people are missing every week. Like we see it on Facebook, people that we know. It is so dangerous. One of the sheriffs because our church is in White City, which is a community. Yeah. And my daughter's softball team and our church is partnering to get rid of graffiti and to do like cleanups in White City because there is a lot of gang activity in the White City area.
Oh yeah.
And you can see they tag everywhere. So our church was partnering with the local school district, which is the Eagle Point School District. Yeah. We're doing graffiti cleanup together. And then, so my daughter plays softball, so we also got the softball team. And then one of the sheriff that came out to protect us.
Right.
To protect us. People, this is like, there's 7,000 people like in White City, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To protect us. And so we become friends. There was like 2 officers that were with us. Yeah. And he starts telling us stories about families because there's a lot of trailer parks. Yeah. And in the trailer parks, there's Hispanic families that their kids got into the drug cartel because of fear or they're going to kill you if you don't, do what they say. Yeah. That they're breaking into the parents who won't even go into the bedroom. They find guns, drugs, 16-year-old teenage boys. Yeah. And the officers, like, you would not believe what is in a mile vicinity of your church. Yeah. And I'm just like, what?
No, it's really happening. And the people that deny that are the same people that want the sanctuary state. Yeah. And the sanctuary counties and the same. our commissioners again passed the resolution that Douglas County would support law enforcement, right? And ultimately, this is the thing that really also irritates me. In our county, and in I guess probably Oregon, all 36 counties, the sheriff is the one that's responsible for making this because they're elected.
Right.
The sheriff decides what they will and won't do as far as upholding the law, and the Constitution, the law, whatever that case may be. Now, our county commissioners have the ability to pass a resolution or ordinance or whatever they decide. In this particular case, the resolution they made was to not get in the way of federal law enforcement with county assets. And
That's very good.
Yeah, and boy, I tell you, you'd think they kick the hornet's nest with all of the pushback and the crap, and and the local liberals are going to sue them, and they've there's podcasts about how the commissioners are so wrong. I got to tell you, from what I hear, and again, I hear it from the county because people call me, they email me, they text me, they whatever.
Yeah.
98%, if not 99% of people that have contacted me are in full support of our county supporting federal law enforcement, or not just necessarily supporting them, but not getting in their way.
Yeah.
So when I hear the 2% screaming the loudest, I'm going, well, what is it about it that you guys have a problem with it? Well, ICE and the thugs and Donald Trump and all this crap. ICE doesn't go after illegal immigrants. They go after people that are breaking the law. Right. So if you're not breaking the law, you don't really have anything to hide from.
Right.
You don't have anything to fear.
Right.
And again, I'll probably roast in hell for saying it, but that's just how I feel.
Well, the amazing thing to me is we had a Border Patrol office here for years.
Yeah.
Which has morphed and became ICE for years. And they were going to reopen that office, and people around here lost their mind. Nothing's changed. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
All they want to do is enforce. If you're going to be here legally.
Yeah.
You can't go to Mexico illegally.
No.
And when they put you in prison there,
you're lucky if you
they
get
beat
You can't come to Samoa illegally.
Yeah.
Well, you have to fly there.
Yeah. And that's a long flight.
Case in point, we literally
too far to swim.
we just went, back to visit his family, and we were planning on maybe doing some island hopping. So we were going to go to Fiji, and then we were going to go to New Zealand. We wanted to tour around, so we bought a one-way ticket, right?
Oh yeah,
and we were going on Fijian Air, and so we get to the counter in Los Angeles, getting ready to board our flight, and they're like, "Oh no, you're not boarding this flight." I said, "Excuse me." And they said, where's your return ticket back to, America? I said, well, we're gonna island hop. We're just, we haven't decided how many days we're gonna spend here, so we didn't pick our thing yet. They're like, oh no, you are not leaving until we see you are coming back. Because we had to go through Fiji.
Yeah.
So the nation of Fiji will not allow you to come into their country if you do not have a way out.
Right.
That's Fiji, a little tiny island.
Yeah.
This is America, the United States.
Yeah.
And people are losing their mind because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have Border Patrol. And I think, I just want to honor all of those who serve and those who give. My dad's a Purple Heart Vietnam veteran, shot in the line of duty. We live with the war every day because now he has Parkinson's, he has heart disease. He was given with Agent Orange, and he didn't commit suicide, thank God. So many of the Vietnam veterans did. But the sacrifice that people make every day, I just want to honor all of our military and law enforcement, because all the other people who are complaining and crying, guess what? When someone knocks at their door to bust their house down and hurt them, guess who they're going to call?
Yeah, 911.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it has to be an honor and a respect. And I think we need to bring that back to America. It's honor and order and appreciation.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree, and I fully support law enforcement. I actually work with them in search and rescue as well, and I catch a beating for that sometimes too. It's like, well, I generally when somebody complains about law enforcement, it's because they have something to complain about, right? They've either been arrested or they've been in trouble. Now, I got a parking ticket one time, and I wasn't very happy, but it wasn't law enforcement that gave it to me. So we don't even talk about the results of that because it was pretty ugly for a while.
Right.
At $20, it was the point, not the dollars, but it was the point.
It's the saddest thing. We're in the stage that we're in right now of the political arena, right? If people will go back and learn the history of the country, which is, I don't know if you guys watched the that the people that run the museum, being interviewed and being by
On the Smithsonian one?
yes, um, it's horrible how they were trying to erase
Yeah.
every most important statement in that museum. They're trying to replace all of it. But the reason why I'm saying this is, like in the island, in Samoa, there's a lot of, the influence of the Chinese is pretty big, right? Going into the South Pacific and all that part of the world.
Yeah.
Listen, when people say word racist and all that, so people don't understand. I love my people. I love people outside of the house. But guess what? I will defend the people inside of my house in everything I have.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of life. The Chinese are there. Guess what? They're not there to assimilate. They're there to take over. They're there to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
That is the most, to me, if you don't think I want them out, of course I want them out. Of course I want them not, because I know they're not, they have a different agenda.
Exactly.
Illegal immigrant. It is one of the list. There's legal and there's illegal. I think people need to understand. You are not, the United States is not stopping you to come here. But when you come, you have to assimilate. You have to learn the rule of law here in the country so that you can live in unison with others. You can't come here and try to, the only reason why you came here is because you don't like where you were.
Exactly.
You didn't like the way you were treated there. So you're here, you can't try to reverse everything so you can live. You're here physically, but you still want, listen, it doesn't work that way. We came here because there is something different here, that there is an opportunity that is being offered here in this country. And every nation, as a sovereign nation, there's a reason why there's a sovereign nation. This is a sovereign nation. You have to obey the rules and the laws of that nation, or else it's not a nation at all.
Yeah.
Right? And we have to do the same thing for those little islands. Those little islands, they are protected by the sovereignty that is the global community has given by law, legally given. So if any other nation wants to invade, guess what? The global community, if they don't agree, they'll have to come. Right? I mean, that's reality.
That's so well said. So well said. Could you just say that to the Californians that want to move to Oregon?
That's right.
Is that a possibility?
Oh, they already raised the property value. Right?
I'm in trouble.
I was 7 when we moved here.
I'm in trouble for that one. I know that was.
I think one of the things we also just to tag in a little bit was the principles that our country was built on. And once we lose those, we lose our country.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Because the idea of democracy came from, there's 2 movies that are out that are amazing. I don't know if you guys watched The Young George Washington.
Great movie.
I haven't seen it.
Great.
You gotta watch it.
Oh
Great
my gosh.
movie.
And then George Whitfield. And it's really about Benjamin Franklin and the influence that they had on writing the Declaration of Independence. Came, it says that, God has bestowed on every man, right? Like these inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But if you minus God, you will have none of those concepts because they get all of these ideas from Scripture, right? So we want to abstract God and abstract laws and abstract family and abstract truth. Then we have a completely chaotic society that is going to implode upon itself.
Right. Yeah.
And so like our duty, especially us, that's one of the reasons we love ministry. We're overseeing the young adults and the youth at our church. And one of the things that we have to restore is honor and order.
Yeah.
You will be told no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have to learn how to respect, you have to learn how to listen to those who have gone before you because they have something to offer you. And so we took them all to the Benjamin Franklin George Whitfield movie.
Really?
The whole team, all of our staff, all of our youth kids. We had like 40 tickets because we at that, when school's on, we have 30 teenage kids, right? And then our youth staff is probably like
That's
7 to 10.
more than a hobby right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but the problem is, and I already said this before, I'll say it again. We don't teach them anymore.
Right.
The schools are completely they don't care about history, and if you don't study it, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the other thing to Benjamin Franklin and George Whitfield, what most people don't understand is what Benjamin Franklin gave up to that. You know, he severed ties with his own son and never spoke to him again.
Didn't know that.
The other thing with Benjamin Franklin, you know, he was a deist. Okay. He recognized God's sovereignty. He was the one that said, we need to stop and pray and give thanks to the Father of lights. That's paraphrased from his speech a couple years later after the signing of the Declaration of the Independence. He recognized that, and he said, if we don't do this, we've got no better chance of succeeding than the builders of Babel.
Well,
And it's profound.
the amazing thing is the United States has done so well for so long, but we're drifting,
Yes.
and we're getting into territory that's scary.
Yes.
And I don't know what it looks like, how we're going to turn this thing around. And I say the United States, the whole damn state of Oregon is a dumpster fire right now. Listen, I want to touch on a couple of other things. We're getting kind of close to the end of our time tonight. You guys have been great, by the way.
Thank you.
I want you to come back already. I got people on here commenting they love you. You're like a great speaker. I'm like, yeah, I know. I agree. I want to talk a little bit about fire updates. I generally get fire updates from the state fire marshal. We have meetings a couple times a week, and we get updates. If you're not aware, the state's on fire. I don't think it's a surprise, and we can point fingers as to why that's on fire. But again, I do want to mention one other thing. I heard this crazy comment the other day. I just want to make a comment about it. That lightning fires burn themselves out. All of these fires are caused by humans. Lightning fires, they don't go anywhere. They just burn themselves out. Well, I got news for you. The state right now has 13,000 fires, and the majority of them, I think, in excess of 85% of them were caused by lightning. The problem is, a lot of those fires they're not being touched yet because they're burning in areas that are not accessible. So the only thing that we can do, and a lot of them are burning on federal land. And
of course,
and I just met with the fire marshal. Well, we had him on. We had him on last week. At the fire marshal and the state forester on, and we have a ton of equipment that can't go out until we have the management in place to put those people on the fire lines. If you don't think forest fire is dangerous, you're crazy. I've been in them. I'm not really a firefighter, but I've worked with sheriff's department for years on doing helping people evacuate. You have to have a management team before you can put somebody on a fire, and our state is way behind on that. And that, frankly, is, I will point the finger. The majority party doesn't seem to care about that because it's not Portland that's on fire. It's Douglas County, it's Jackson County, it's Josephine County. That's where the fires are.
Right.
So if you were mad about it, be mad and put the anger where it belongs, and that's back. Vote, right? You need to vote because I think forest fires need attention. I will also say I get a lot of phone calls, and everybody that's watching tonight, I'm sure some of them are some of our local contractors. I am getting a ton of phone calls because people are not getting called out on fires. I will tell you that a lot of our guys are now out on fires. I know Bob Murray's been called out. Katie Jones has several call outs. There's been other people I know that have called me. They're getting called out. They're starting to head out on these fires. It doesn't happen right away. I'm doing everything I can within my power, which isn't a lot when it comes to the federal government, but I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that people know that you guys are concerned and you want to be called out. And I think that in time you will get called out. Now, we also have to pay you to fight those fires. The last I heard, we're up to $3 million, $4 million a day on firefighting right now. I know as of last week, we were at 35 million already spent.
Oh, wow.
And that number is going to go up. Now, last year we had a special session called so we could take money from another fund to pay our firefighters because we were 200 million in the hole.
Wow.
I expect the way this year is going to go, it's probably not going to be much different. So if you're a firefighter, or if you have, if you're a contractor that does firefighting, your equipment, whatever that may be, I hear your voice. I appreciate everything you guys do. I'm sorry that you're not out. If you want to be out, I think there will be time. You will get out. Hang in there, and feel free to call me. I'm fine with that. I never discourage that, and I always want the conversation. we already kind of talked about our meet and greet, but we didn't really talk about how it went. I think the meet and greet was very positive, very successful. We had, I don't know, 60 people or something show up. Looking Glass Brewery, yeah, which is not a very big venue. I was a little disappointed that there was a lot of people that always talk a big talk on social media, because keyboard warriors, that they want to ask us those hard questions. It's like, well, here we are. Where were you?
That's right.
They didn't show up. They don't ask the questions. And I don't know. I haven't looked at YouTube tonight. I don't know if we had any questions that have come in. It's been a little quiet. So we will do more meet and greets. We will do as the campaign season moves forward. We're going into full campaign mode. I'm always in campaign mode because I talk to everybody all the time. We will be at the Douglas County Fair. My chief of staff gave me a note. Wednesday, August 5th through the 8th, there will be Republican booth there. There will be my booth. I will have a booth.
Yep.
I also understand that Chris Boyce, our county commissioner, will have a booth, and I believe Court Boyce will have a booth as well. So if you have those questions, or you just want to come by and have a conversation, or if you just want to come by and complain or whatever, I'm there every year, and I will be there. Knock on wood, I do need to take time to go eat because I don't want to get too skinny. But I'm pretty much there from 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, all 4 days of the fair, I think it is, or whatever time they close on the last day.
I'm sure you can get a corn dog.
I can get
Maybe
a corn
some
dog.
curly
Yeah.
fries.
I'm going to tell you, the fair food, my stomach hurts for weeks after that fair. But I think it's important. It's why we do this podcast. We want transparency.
It's good.
And I know I'm a Nazi and people call me names or whatever, but you know what? They can have at it. You can call me. I don't give a crap what you call me. I don't care. I don't care what you accuse me of. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm going to do my job.
Do it. That's
And-
good.
and-
Thank you.
And that's the only thing I worry
Thank you.
about. And at the end of the day, that's where we're headed.
Well, they called George Washington a traitor.
yeah, I know.
It depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
And every day he risked his life when he stood up to fight for our nation. Okay, so thank you for
Yes.
what you're doing.
Thank you.
And don't
Absolutely.
and what people say, it doesn't matter. It's just like my husband, or if you have a father and the father sits down, he's like, "No, you're not going out tonight. No, you're not taking the car at 15 years old and you don't have a driver's license, right?" Nobody wants to be told no. Why? It's for your own safety.
for your own safety. Yeah.
It's for your own protection. You can never let your little kids run in the street. I don't care. It's like, no, you put up a fence. Why? To keep them safe.
Keep them safe.
So welcome America to fences.
Yes.
And like it or not, it's good for you and you need it. And we have to go back to that place of God put it here on purpose and we need it. And it's there to protect us and to keep us safe so that we can continue to live. I mean, the rate that we're going, right? State's going to burn down.
Yeah.
Look at California. They had no water.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I tell my colleagues in the House sometimes, I'm like, us and God are a majority. We may not be in the majority party, but us and God were the majority.
That's true.
And I mean that. I mean, I don't know what the plan. In fact, I had a lady today. We were talking. She's one of my customers, and she's like, God has a plan.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know what it is. It seems a little bit off to me right now, but I think.
But even during the time of the prophet Isaiah was most very uncertain time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we all had to learn as believers and as Christians, and we co-pastor a church in White City with our dear friend Michelle and Carol Lewis, is that he's an immutable God, means he doesn't change. These things will change. The world will change. People's opinion will change. Ideology will change. But the God we serve is immutable, means he can't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. According to Isaiah, this is what he said. Isaiah 41 verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. This is God telling Isaiah.
Yeah.
Listen, don't be afraid. I'm with you. He said, be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. My friend, you're fighting a good fight of faith, and we're praying for you.
Yes.
We're praying for even this state of Oregon.
Yes.
We're praying for our commoners. The Bible says, pray for your leaders. We're praying for these people.
Yeah.
That God will continue to bring conviction and heal the land.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes.
And
I think you guys, and I tell you what, you guys are probably the most popular people we've had on our podcast. I get nothing but good coming through on Facebook right now.
Probably our friends.
People are like,
I was going to say, these all got to
shared
be.
it. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
oh, it's like these people are like, we want these guys back. We love them. I'm like, all right. And then somebody just said, preach it. I'm like, yeah, amen. Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I want to quickly before we go to final comments, I want to acknowledge some of our sponsors.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about Bob real quick. So,
Yeah.
Bob Murray Trucking. I know Bob's got a lot of equipment out on the fire right now. He's a great guy, very big supporter not only of the Republican Party but this podcast as well. He is just a super good guy. He's very, very helpful to our community. He's given us lots
That's
of
awesome.
donated time with his equipment, and,
Wow.
yeah, so
Great success story. Built his company from nothing,
There you go.
Yeah.
you know, and him and his wife, Kimmy, just love him to death.
Wow.
Yep.
So-
They're going to be with us this weekend, by the way.
Yep, and I always love mentioning Bob. Also, Looking Glass Brewery, which we have the sign up here. They were hosting our meet and greet. Mark took some heat for that. Mark
Wow.
took some heat for not only were the person that called me a Nazi said it was a Nazi gathering, and that's the last time I'll ever go to Looking Glass Brewery. And I'm thinking to myself, I actually mentioned that to a few of my buddies that go there all the time. They're like, good. We don't want them in here anyway, you know. I'm like, yeah, and you know, Mark's the kind of guy that he'll say, look, he stands for his values.
That's good.
Yeah.
You have
And I'll
to.
tell you, that right there means a ton to me.
Yes.
I mean, and
Yes.
Yes.
Mark and Lydia that own that brewery are just solid people. Probably the reason Winston's still around because they
Wow.
have literally established and I don't even know what would happen if they were gone. It would be pretty horrible.
Well, just their ability to give to the community, you know, clear back when we were doing, I was looking at our 2019 luau,
Wow.
which was the last one
well,
we did.
Yeah.
And Mark and Lydia were there,
Yeah.
and had Looking Glass Brewery. And I'll never forget, afterwards, we were all kind of hanging out and decompressing and everything. Mark comes over and says, hey, put this in your pocket. And I held my hand out and he covered it. I put it in my pocket. He says, hey, that's to go into the fund.
Yeah.
And he gave us his profits that night out of the fund, and it was like $3,000.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
No,
But that's the
he's-
kind of guy Mark is. He believes in community.
Yeah.
He understands that's what makes
The world go round.
the everything tick.
Yeah, no, we love them. We support them. I don't drink that much beer. I'm good for about one a week. But I used to drink more, but I'm trying to get skinny.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I went to my doctor today. He said you're doing good, so I'm happy with that. I also want to acknowledge that I met with Becky Holmes today for a few minutes. She came out to my shop, and she is now officially back on board, sponsoring us again. I'm going to just read real quick, but she's Medicare, Marketplace, Cancer, Hospitality, Indemnity Insurance. She never charges for her services and can interpret the language of the insurance, which she can do. She's helped me. And if you're going to be traveling, see her for travel insurance as well. Becky Holmes Insurance, 541-900-6001, 541-900-6001. She's been awesome supporter of this show. Andrea Williams has also been a supporter of our show. And I do want to mention, a couple people. Commissioner Chris Boyce, Court Boyce, who has been a supporter of our show, a great help to us, and a great commissioner to our county. And as you know, he's running in a race right now. And also, I don't want to forget Senator Brock Smith.
Yeah.
The guy who takes probably the most heat of anybody by both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans. Which I know David.
Good.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. If you're ruffling feathers on both sides, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I know David well. He just really cares about this state,
Wow.
and he's trying his hardest, and he catches a lot of heat for the effort that he puts out there. So, I also want to thank our commissioners for coming to our events and hanging out with us. And
Yes.
and I don't know what Douglas County would be without our commissioners that we have now. They take a lot of heat for what they do, but we sure appreciate all three of them.
Yep.
With that, I want to give you guys a chance to kind of last words. You got any last comments or anything you'd like to say, or any more verses? I kind of like that.
Well, I just like to say, I think the principles that got us here are going to be the principles that keep us here.
Yeah,
And it was devotion to God, it was faith, and it was family. you know, and out of that place birthed the idea of the democracy, right? Like one of my favorite speeches. So my daughter went to Cascade Christian and she learned to be an American. We did the
Nice.
Heritage Tour.
Nice.
We went to George Washington's house, and that really impacted me because as we were touring the home, and as a wife and as a mother, I remember they showed the rocking chair and they showed her children and they showed pictures of her and her children and then her husband. And I thought, wow. And it talked about like how when George Washington would go and fight, she had no idea if he was ever going to come back.
Right.
She had no idea, if they caught him at any moment, he was going to be, hung and quartered as a traitor because he believed in this idea of freedom and democracy. And just looking at that changed me, and it did something like this. If this woman is willing, and this family, to give their whole lives so that people, like, here I am today, living in the most blessed country in the entire world. And we've traveled extensively because of our family, church stuff, and different things. And America, everyone looks to us as the leaders. We need to
I have
lead.
6 siblings in Australia. Two of my brothers, this is all they watch. It's the American politics. They absolutely love American politics.
And just as a side
So
note,
did they bump their heads when they were younger?
Oh, it is just yeah. They just
as a side note, everyone respects our president overseas.
Yeah.
Like in other countries, he is revered and honored
Yeah.
for the good because they're taking note and whatever we do. We set the world platform and the
Yeah.
stage.
Yep.
And so it's like if we return to our values, like marriage. Marriage would solve a lot of the problems in our
Yeah,
country.
yeah,
Why? Because you have a father and you have a mother
Yep.
to raise the children, to protect them, to provide for them.
Yeah.
A woman doesn't have to do it alone. It's like these basic, having a job. We told our kids, welcome to the real world. You want money? Get a job.
Yeah.
Like simple principles that we have long forgotten in this. We've been nursing off of the milk of our country, and that's it's drying up and it's creating all these other problems where we have to go back to our basic principles that made us who we were.
Listen, I'd vote for her for governor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Careful. We can make that happen.
Me personally, I just want to say, this might be my last time here. I would never know. We might get in a car crash and die, go to heaven, right? So, but here's what I say. The scripture said that cursed is the man who leans on the arm of flesh. And my encouragement to whoever is watching, including, our representative and all of us in this room, is that even the young lion will lack and suffer hunger, but for those who fear the Lord will never lack of any good thing. The fear of God is the beginning of everything. Obedience to God and His word and who He is, it will comfort you to the point where no matter what happens around you, it will bring strength and courage. And so my encouragement to all of us who are watching, might be my last time here. I just want to say, Jesus died so that you and I can have life and life abundantly. He is the way, the truth, and the life. There's no other.
Yeah.
So this world will pass away, but the promises of God will never pass away. It is eternal. And that's all I got to say.
Listen, I read the 23rd Psalm often. It's on my desk. I know they're, again, being a Nazi and everything. People. Sorry.
Let us not forget this.
I have, and my chief of staff's here, and she can attest to this. But on my desk is a Bible, and it sits right in the middle of my desk, and everybody that walks in my office in Salem sees it. And if you open it, well, I didn't have to open it because I have little tabs where I actually put on there, and I make notes because there's verses I like to read sometimes, and I typically add to that often. On my desk is a Bible. There's also a Constitution sitting there, and then I have all the law books there as well. And I'm a leader, and so I know without that Bible and without the Constitution, I have nothing.
Yeah.
You got to have the standards to go behind. I mean, you just said it, right? And that's what I do. So when I hear Facebook warriors comments and stuff, and I'm not worried about it. I'm just saying it. It's like I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a
Yes.
Republican. We all live in this country,
Yeah.
and we need God, and we need common sense, and we need good ideas. Trent, you want the last word?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, it just to prove your point, who would have thought today we'd be sitting on a couch talking to tons of people, having agreements, disagreements, and everything else that started from a phone call. Hey, can we get together? Can we share in your culture? And I really do have a heart for the islands. You can ask my wife. I every time we talk about this, I tear up.
He gets sunburned when
Yeah,
he
I
goes
know.
down there.
I do. I do.
So sweet.
But the point being is, you never know who you're going to meet and where you're going to go by the people that you meet and where that will end up and the influences that you have on people.
Right.
And the influence that you've had on me over all these years is just, it's an unusual thing. I think, in a lot of ways. I'll give you a quick Salu Polamalu story.
Got to be quick.
It's going to be quick. So in 2019 was his last luau. We lost him a couple months later. But you were giving your testimony at the end of the dance. I think we ended with the haka that night.
Yeah.
And you were giving your testimony, and there was a guy sitting next to Salu, and he says, "Oh God, he's preaching." And Salu put his arm around and said, "You shut up." and turned his head.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know Salu, he was a big man. But
He's a big dude.
it was an influence on him, and I think it took him. I think that came into him in that looking back on kind of all of that, and was like, I never thought of it that way. That was an influence. Your culture and I've used it for you. You guys are my uso. And I don't say that very lightly. When it comes to it's brother.
Right. No,
Okay,
right. I know.
Yeah. And it for what we're doing, it's going to take a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters to change the culture.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, folks, you're saying one person said vote blue. I'm sorry. It's been a failure for 40 stinking years. Okay?
Time to turn a corner.
Time to change.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
or at least get an open mind and get over yourself a little bit and let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
That's why you need to show up to the meet and greets.
Yes.
So
You need to ask those
thank
questions.
you guys for making the trip
Thank
up
you.
here. When you said you wanted to come up, I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. Because I get to hang out with family.
I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you guys now because it seems like everybody on here watching wants you to come back. So
Wow, what an honor.
if hopefully if you guys would like to come back maybe in a few months or weeks
Thank
or whatever,
you.
we have you back on and
too.
it's been a pleasure having you both.
Thank
so
you
hey,
so much.
thank you so much. And
Thank
Melody,
you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I
Such
owe
a
you a hug
pleasure.
later. So in fact, Trent's gonna buy us dinner. I heard.
Oh, let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Does
maybe
looking
that's-
gas make steak?
Maybe that's projected.
I got that card. Thank you for July's one.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and we're gonna shut down for the night. Thank you for joining us. Please like us, follow us, YouTube.
Subscribe.
You can subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on 13 different platforms: Amazon Music, Apple Music, tons of different ways to watch us or listen to us, and we're on there forever. So you can always go on YouTube and watch us or Amazon or whatever you want to do. But thank you for following us, and thank everybody for staying with us. And we'll see you next. Well, actually, you won't see us next week. Next week's fair. That's not true. Tuesday night. You will see us next
That's
week.
right. I was gonna
So
like, what are you talking
yes. So have a great night. Thanks.
about? Thank
Take
you
care.
guys.